Mhm. So thank you everyone for joining us this evening. My name is Alina Revelis, and today we are speaking with Heilong Harry Wang from, uh, um, maybe you could introduce yourself, Harry.
Okay. Yeah, the people normally call me Harry. So I'm from the Fifth Third Bank. I'm currently the digital analytics for the bank. Uh, I'm leading the team in the moderation management. So my team focus on a lot of regular type of model. In the meantime, I also lead the innovation app for the MRM. We are try to build Agentic AI platform in order to transform MRM to the digital large system of risk and also become the enabler of the first and different effectiveness. Yeah.
That is exciting. And today's talk is actually agentic AI industry examples.
Hmm.
So we are very much excited to have you. So you are the head of director of analytics AI at Fifth Third Bank in the US and recognized domain knowledge leader in agentic AI. And we are excited to have you. I know that you spoke at the AI4 conference, one of the biggest conferences on AI. Um, and it's great to have you here today with us. And with expertise in AI, machine learning, risk management, governance of AI system, setting up those agentic flows. We welcome you, and we also welcome our audience. So today we are speaking about how do you leverage AI and automation. So my question is, how can we leverage agents at the workforce? Can we use them safely, potentially? And AI agents are reshaping industries. Banks have started using them, and you see a lot of this, everywhere. Everything is now AI and AI agents.
Yes, we saw a lot of the example, and also if you are the LinkedIn, every time you will have a lot of things pushed to you, talk about how the AI the shaping the industry or shaping uh, the what you are doing right now. And there are a lot of cases as well regarding to the financial services, right? So this is why we're talking today, right?
Yeah, it's would be great to hear your perspective on AI agents are essentially systems that get access to different tools and also
Mm-hmm.
access to large language models. And how to build these safely and responsibly, that is actually a very big question that everyone is saying, well, AI agents, they are the next layer of transformation, autonomous. So the word autonomous AI agents, it's all about letting these AI agents, which are, you can think of them as pieces of software, but unlike regular software, they get access to those large language models. So think to yourself, let's say I have got an app that can now make decision, can can to connect to other apps, and can potentially uh, leverage large language models to make decisions. So there are many interesting applications, but the whole point is now there's autonomous AI agents where they're making decisions without sometimes that human in the loop.
Yes, actually, sometimes we talk about the agent AI. We also need to talk about the agent, right? So we before really go to into deeper discussing about the agent AI. For the past several years, the first thing is we get is before that, before the OpenAI release their ChatGPT GPT-4 models. We're talking about AI ML, right? So then time we'll talk about a lot of like a deep learning type of model. Then time the model size is smaller and their functionality is limited. So later on, we have the ChatGPT, and we talk about the model behind the ChatGPT for the OpenAI GPT-4 models, right? Then time that we are talking about generative AI. So that means the model themselves, based on your prompt, based on your requirement, they can generate something for you. Okay, but those things is more likely passive or 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 like passive or reactive, not uh, like something they can have autonomy to do things for you. Then later on, we built an agent. So the agent is a kind of like you have a AI assistant, right? They can do something for you, but still they cannot incorporate with multiple agents together. So you still need to kind of like give the guidelines step by steps, right? Just some. Oh, I don't know how you guys use them. Um, most recent the new version of ChatGPT. Okay, when you ask the ChatGPT to generate something to you, he will ask you step by step. So is this you want? Then you say yes. Then he generates something. Then he'll ask you again. So actually, those things still under the agent level because they need to get your feedback to get the things done. But after we move to Agentic AI, so that means you get more autonomy. So autonomy, automation, autonomy. So that means they have more the autonomy from this agent. They can collaborate with each other from agent. Some example like this. Okay, you can book your air ticket. Just go to the agent to buy air ticket. But you told the agent, oh no, I'm not just only on need the air ticket. I need you give me the plan. For example, I want to go to Japan. So you give me everything. So they will buy ticket for you, they book a hotel for you, and also arrange uh, where you go, right? So this is because all the agents work together to give you a solution. What you need give is just one thing. So okay, where you want to go? So they will based on every their information to give you answer. But however, go back to you, Alina, is the question is how we can build the agent AI system we can trust and we can rely on, and with the governance, with the satisfy the compliance, right? So all those things is actually is you just think about just like your before you have an agent, right? You just working with your team member, different team, right? They have their routine. So right now, when you build Agentic AI, you try to build those routine into the agent, intelligent agent, each agent. But each agent is follow your procedure and standard, follow your routine. And the most important thing, you have a guardrail agent as well. So say something, okay, what decision you make? Some decision you might need to have autonomy. Some decision actually is just like decision tree, decision the robotic type things. So this is a way. So this is a way. This way they will become the go back to your topic. It's become the next layer transformation. The transform everywhere we do.
That makes sense. So my team also actually builds agents, and I agree with you. In a regulated industry, even an unregulated industry, if you want to have fully autonomous AI agents that have access to large language models and you want to have control, you need to have those guardrails as to what the agent does. It is a very common practice to have agents to govern and monitor other agents to make sure that they are not creating something crazy. There was a case where a company had their entire database hijacked by an agent that went and created some code nobody was overseeing, and they didn't have backup, and they lost the entire database from that entire organization because they let an agent that had access to APIs, that had access to the database, it had access to large language models. And it ran some code. Unfortunately, it was not good quality code, and it completely wiped out that entire database. But for autonomy, you need to have agents to regulate and monitor other agents because it's not always possible to have that human in the loop. It's just not something that we can always do, especially if you have got something like thousands of operations every minute or every hour. You do need, and then what ends up happening, you are putting that multiple agents, and you now need to govern those agents. And there is a couple of those governance frameworks out there.
Yeah, so Alina, I just want to add one or two sentences here, my thought, okay? Especially we are talking about the human in the loop, right? So the human in the loop is very important, but sometimes, just as you say, if you have 1,000 process ongoing, okay? If 1,000 process ongoing in a very short time period, and it's already out of the boundary, the capacity the human can handle, okay? Is that human in the loop is become the bottleneck, or you want to be that human in the loop is become the enabler. So if we want to make the human in the loop, that subject matter expert become an enabler, so that means he need to put all the like a routine type of decision making. Those decision making is just like a decision tree type of decision making become the guardrail agent to the agent. But then if there anything out of that guardrail boundary, then the human in the loop, the subject expert step in.
Yeah.
So try to make all the more regular routine type of decision making to the agent, but only make some like out of the escalate type of the things to the human. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
human becomes a bottleneck, is not become the enabler. The subject expert, we always talk about this, right? They say, okay, in the future we have agent, we have less job to do, but because you have less job to do, looks like. But however, the old way you only do 10 job, right? But right now you have 100 job to do. You have 1,000 job to do. Then actually your responsibility become larger. But however, if you are not managing the agent appropriate, your job become more. So that's the key. So I just want to introduce a human in the loop. I want another thing is that the human shouldn't become the bottleneck or become the
Yeah,
enabler. Yeah,
the human
yeah.
should not become the bottleneck, but in certain industries, you have those that compliance, those regulations, and for something that is customer facing and let's say it's
Mm-hmm.
sensitive, let's give you an example of insurance or
Uh-huh.
mortgages. So here is an example I have around insurance submissions.
Mm-hmm.
The AI agent extracts information and the agent cross-references information, maybe drafts a report automatically, maybe creates an email. You do need that human in the loop to validate that report. The agent might be good at the routine tasks such as extracting information,
Mm-hmm.
populating fields in your CRM systems, in your Salesforce, in your CRM Dynamics, or wherever it is you're using. Cross-referencing data, it's good at those types of tasks, right? But when it comes to drafting those reports, it might also be good. But validating that the report is good quality, especially if you need to submit it for further action, you do need that human to oversee. So the role of the human becomes much more important. You're taking on more responsibility. And that's actually very interesting points. So yes, there are also, why now? Why are we seeing this explosion now? You have got a lot of these advanced large language models, and they're to a point they're really good. From OpenAI, there's the GPT 4.1 is already a good model, and the GPT 5 even more.
I'm
You have,
I'm really using for 5 now, and I use
yeah,
calendar Sonnet
yeah.
4.5.
Cloud
So
is
yeah,
excellent for
yeah, yeah,
coding.
yeah.
You're right. And depending on the company where you work, you might have certain approved models for you to use. But at home,
Uh-huh.
for sure, you're free to use just about anything. Um,
Yeah.
but these models are very good at decisioning, at coding. They do have different behaviors. They were trained a bit differently, but they are able to reason, and they are able to have complex multi-step workflows. And I ran an experiment setting up a couple agents and observing how they interact among each other.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally sending instructions to each other. It could be pieces of code, but it could be prompts. Essentially, you now have got AI-enabled agents communicating to each other. And also there's good frameworks out there, both open source, closed source, lots of solid frameworks. Some of you might be leveraging these like LangChain, CrewAI, AutoGen to democratize this development. And you have got almost like this race towards. And also,
They compete with each other. They try to get say, okay,
yes.
my framework is better, but the case is for us
And if,
is
yeah, and
all
if,
it
exactly.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
If
Adam.
you are in a not interested in coding so much, there's now wipe coding that is also exploding. Lots and lots of
Uh,
frameworks for that.
uh,
I'm not sure if you've tried something like that.
I try, but one thing is actually last time when we have the actually 2 weeks ago we have conference. They're talking about how use one word to 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 explain what's AI for you. I say actually is my partner. Why I say it's partner because actually I use AI every day because I have a people say oh, you work in 8 hours. Actually, I work in more than about 10 hours every day. So, and actually, I use AI for 6 to 7 hours. So that means I use a lot. So that means in the meantime, because I build in the system, so I also write some code, and I can see which one is better and which one. So I have a different underlying foundation model to use to the comparison. But one thing is, we example here have a lot of advanced large language model. But however, really, when you move to the uh, agent level. So then time you might need to design system. The system is for your agent. Some agent you might just want to use some specifically small size or small language model for your task. And in order to make your answer more specific and also make that agent to learn your behavior. So go back to the one of the cases you mentioned is yeah you for the contract, right? So the contract the people need to review. But however, if you build some the agent to train the reinforced learning for the reviewers' behavior and also how they make decision, use not have to use large model, use a small language model to build the agent. That one can leverage the workload for the human, so make a humans worker less. So what I want to say is there's a lot of right now a lot of model, but sometimes for all those model released here is more like a general the purpose for us. But when we really dig into a Agentic AI platform, we might need to think about a small language model for the purpose. Yeah.
It makes sense. Also, I find the cost goes up, and you
Yeah.
don't also need a large language model for everything. Like you're saying, you can have small or even nano size
Mm-hmm.
models for certain tasks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in some systems, you could be building hundreds of these agents. Not every agent requires for
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're just basically more specialized. It's like in
Yeah.
cooking, right? You
Yeah.
have
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the person who is baking the cake, and the one who that's decorating the cake, the one
Yeah.
that's maybe transporting the cake or
Uh-huh.
setting it up. You don't need a large language model like a GPT-5 or Claude
Uh-huh.
4
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
to
Uh-huh.
power that. You could get
Uh-huh.
away with something small or even nano
Yeah.
size
Mm-hmm.
for your
Yeah. Maybe.
task.
Yeah, maybe we can later on. I don't know. Maybe we will talk about something regarding to the like
Mhm.
how the control the hallucination and use your embed your domain knowledge to a certain type of your rag, also the graph rag, all those agents. Yeah, that's also will matter. Yeah.
So I have a slide here for our audience from Gartner. Um, And they have surveyed 133 institutions on the agentic AI use, and they're saying 19% companies already using AI, and 20% will use it. You're in the next 2 to 3 years. Obviously, you're from a company that's already using. You're in those 19.
Yeah.
You're at the head of the curve, the adopter, the leader, and some are saying
Hopefully we'll keep leading.
that's true. And some are saying all of this is hyped, no practical use cases. Some don't even understand what it all means. And some are saying that real form of AI agents are far from reality because there is this whole trust. Do you
Mm-hmm.
trust them? And to our audience, do you trust AI agents? Do you have some in your workplace? Are you actually building some? What is your perception on this? Is it all hyped, or can you actually get business value out of this?
Anybody?
So I also found this slide about the evolution of LLM-based agents. So we had the chatbots, right? We started with the Chat GPT coming out. Everybody got excited. Everyone was jumping at AI assistants and chatbots. And now assistants, they focus on tasks, to follow instructions, to take certain actions for a user. For example, an agent that automatically books your flights, that's an agent. Or an agent that leverages large language models to generate text, to generate an image, for example, that might go together with the text, and create an email address, like an email, nicely crafted email, and to maybe send it to a customer. And agents, so we are kind of in this area now in maturity between the assistants and the agents, and some are saying that we are not fully mature yet, because we need to get there to have full maturity with autonomous agent. And there are some skeptics, right? And definitions. Some are, yeah. So to have real agents interact with our environment and achieve a certain goal, because right now a lot of these are in the automation of different tasks, or kicking up tasks, or generating, but this field is evolving for sure. So
Yeah, agree.
so yes, you're in the financial industry. What kind of, so I have some use cases, and perhaps you can shed some light at some of the use cases that you have seen in the financial services.
Okay, so I think Anina, you already covered all the for here you have underwriting, right? But it is underwriting submission assistant. That's a part of things just regarding the submission, and in order to extract some data information, it's not really making a final decision. So it's this is kind of like a the data extract data for the summary for reporting. That's a lot of a company currently working on have that one, and also for claims the processing that's similar is actually those two are similar but a different target. For my case, actually, I want to not my case. Some case we also talk about fraud identification, right? So a lot of company work on that, and because the floater, they have all type of the way to do the things to do the fraud, right? So the company actually, no matter how quick they can build the model, we have a lot of type of the model needs to update. Even the information, the model we just built for the traditional model, not for AI type of model. Okay, traditional type of even machine model. When it's built, after built, they think that they can capture the floater very easily because based on most information. But in the case, behavior change. Their behavior changes 3 months to 6 months. Your model building is 6 months to 1 year. How you can do that? You cannot. But the case is since that, so you still can use this model, but underline you need to have a more FTE to review the alert. But more FTE review alert, where are your FTE? You don't have FTE, right? You only have a fixed FTE. So in order to fight this fraud, what you can do, you own with your fixed amount FTE, and if you don't have an agent or agentic system for you to identify the alert, you have to review all the alerts, right? Based on the fixed. So either they have to overtime, or otherwise you have to up the fraud limit, because
Mm-hmm.
you only can can review the large amount fraud, right? So that means
Yeah.
you have to bury the risk. That's one option. For my case, actually, we are building something that is manage the whole model lifecycle management. Just like as I mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
some model you build like you need six to 1 years to build more, but based on this automation or autonomy, you try to shrink your time from almost 1 year to 1 or 2 months. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of banks are using AI to detect fraudulent or
Yeah.
suspicious transactions.
Yeah.
And so that tends to be a bit in the classics, the machine learning models
Mm-hmm.
identifying patterns in the data anomalies. But an AI agent can actually uh, act on top of that and generate,
Mm-hmm.
potentially write up some reports or summaries of what is it's seeing, so that the
Mm-hmm.
human person can
Yep. Yep.
optimize their reaction.
The time.
And banks can get in, you need to, you're right, if you have got a lot of cases that you need to summarize and report upon, sometimes you don't have enough human capacity to handle. So a lot of
Yeah.
what's happening in financial institutions, they sometimes underreport because they just cannot handle that capacity. Also,
Yes.
you don't really know what's suspicious, what's fraud, what is not, and you have to report. But it's just takes so much time and effort to do that. So we might lower that threshold, or and say, um, so yeah, it's kind of a balance of a science and an art. I have
Yeah.
also with my team we have been working on agents that act on extracting information and classifying from documents.
Okay.
Things like
We do have
uh,
similar case.
yeah, when customers bring in lots and lots of paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
so there is a human in the loop. But that first point, that first step that tends to happen sometimes is the AI assisted data extraction and classification, which is a very common use case right now across financial institutions to extract, classify information. And then you would bring that human in the loop to validate it, to make
Yep.
sure it is what it is. But then the AI part comes in to potentially populate certain fields in your CRM system or kick up additional flows after this one, such as generate a summary, generate alerts, even generate custom emails to your customers
Mm-hmm.
and translate. Sometimes we have got customers in multiple languages. And for the human translators, it's a lot of effort. But if AI gives a start where now the expert individual human can review these, that basically becomes a major time saving. Also, quality.
Yep.
We ran some experiments with AI, so the quality is definitely improving when you have got human AI collaboration.
And
That
so
becomes human and
I have
AI collaboration.
yeah, I have a question for you. You say you did some experiment, right? So your experiment is compared with different AI model, or you compare with your AI model with your
You know,
MPE?
no, you know what we were comparing? Over the summer, I had co-op students,
Uh-huh.
and the co-op students, like a good amount, 6, 7 individuals, spent
Uh-huh.
some
Yeah,
time
I remember you mentioned to me.
extracting data
Uh-huh.
from documents and populating
Wow.
them. And
Uh-huh.
then we trained AI to do exactly the same task.
Uh-huh.
Also, we have got experts, trained experts that are employees that also do
Uh,
this. So
Uh,
the
who
students,
is better?
well, you know what was better? Basically, we realized that the students who were not doing such an amazing job, they were spending 5 to 10 minutes per document, but they
Uh,
were, because they're not specialized in
they don't know where to.
understanding,
Yeah.
they actually, I was actually surprised myself. These students were getting 70% accuracy.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Trained
that's good.
employees, trained
Oh, okay.
employees for sure are trained in this task. They were
Uh-huh.
getting 90 to 95%.
Okay,
Still
okay.
not 100. Still not 100. AI
Uh-huh.
was able to achieve 99%.
Okay. So you already have exam. Why you not use AI, right? I'm kidding.
So AI is good when but it still doesn't work 100%. And that
Yeah.
1%, we started investigating why is it failing in that 1%. So it could be because
It's with
there's
autonomy.
just sometimes the quality of the document itself is poor, the scan is just poor, or the
Mm-hmm.
data might be missing. The data just
Mm-hmm.
might be missing, or the human that prepared the document put wrong information in there. So obviously AI
Oh,
cannot figure
yeah.
out if the document was not done correctly.
Yes. Yes.
But when the document is done correctly, it actually didn't matter how it was scanned, if it was one PDF or 10 pages or in one shot or separately. It did an excellent job if it came from different formats. It actually did an excellent job if it was typed, handwritten, electronic, submitted
Uh-huh.
ever which
Uh-huh.
way. It did an excellent job if it was even twisted upside down and in reverse, or one document was up, the other one was down. It was amazing to see. I was actually surprised that the students, and they took the task very seriously.
Uh-huh.
So it's just an interesting, funny story for you that sometimes you need that human and AI collaboration. And
That's team
we
up
were
together.
benchmarking AI against that human performance. That was also something, but right, and the
Yeah.
how strict you are in your benchmark. So yeah, so that was a fun experiment we're in over the summer.
Yeah, why I asked that is because we might talk about it later on is about how we can accept the risk and compare with how what's the profitability, what's the risk you can accept, and also what's the conversion rate, right? So example for your case, if you think 99% is not acceptable, because you think there's a model, you should have 100%, but if you come from a human only like 92 to 95, right?
Mhm.
So if comparable, actually better than human. So
Yeah.
sometimes we have a higher standard for
Yes.
the digital
That's true.
require.
Think self-driving cars. God
Yeah.
forbid, if there is one car accident from a self-driving car, that's going to be
Uh,
all over the news. But
yeah.
humans are allowed to have accidents because, well, that's humans. So
Because they're human.
the benchmark is completely different. In my case, I had human extracted examples. So I had a good, strong benchmark of what
Mm,
it should be. And then I ran the student group and I had the employee group against the AI. So it was an excellent experiment, to be honest. And now we actually leveraged that AI system and
mm-hmm,
we applied it on something like 4 or 5 thousand documents. It only
mm-hmm.
took an hour and a half, but we know that 1%, it's not going to do a good job, but we try to put in there some alerting to help us out. So
Okay, yeah, because you talk about the data extraction stuff. So the because the first steps is OCR, right? So another thing is I want to mention today the DeepSeek, they just released a new model. They can how many pages? They say
the DeepSeek,
uh-huh. They released
yeah,
a new model. The new model is that's like a how many like a 200,000 page something. Let me see. Uh,
So yeah, new models are coming. It's very difficult to keep up with every model. Also, depending on where you work, you might be limited in which models you are using, and you have got, you have got that whole open source versus closed source, and if you're experimenting at home, go ahead. If you are experimenting in the workforce, do check with your architecture, your information security team, get that approval. Don't just go grabbing yourself some DeepSeek. It's possible that it might be also blocked. Maybe your information security.
We cannot. I just see on the news they can, because
banks usually we are also not allowed to do this type of thing. We also have got certain approved architectures.
I cannot because we only can use a certain type of model within the bank.
Yes, that is pretty common. So if anyone has got any questions, do put it into the chat. And as we are discussing AI agents and some of those common patterns for implementation. So if you are interested in production grade, production quality agentic flow, what you need to do is definitely going to be not something that you can do on the weekend. You need to make sure that you have the logic. You need to make sure you have the guardrails, the documentation, that framework, that governance, and that oversight. And you might be able to prototype something very fast, but for a product that's enterprise grade ready, that might take you a bit of time and effort.
That's a several years project.
So yes, and to navigate those challenges, so that data and the access, the quality, security, and compliance. So yes, there is a question. So in use cases, what's a good place to start? And what are those easy wins?
So Alina, you want to use?
If I may add a little more meat to the question, I'm a consultant, so I'm not tied to any one organization per se, but a lot of the requests nowadays are, oh, we want to use AI. Okay, it's good, but there's some foundational work to do before we get there. And so one of the questions I would start the conversation with is, what use cases have you thought of? And half of the time, there's none. And so obviously the conversation can go anywhere, but I'm trying to at least have maybe identify a couple use cases that are easy to relate to get the conversation going, so they can, if you will, put their fingers on what a use case may be like.
Alina, you want to start it, or you want to?
Yeah, I would start with the strategy and the business first. You want to go after the use cases that, first of all, don't introduce more risk. You want it to be useful. You also want it to be, so the highest ROI and value from experience tend to be anything that can impact the bottom line. If the company has got an interest to drive more sales, put in AI agents in that area. If the company has got like a retention churn problem, go there. If you are trying to automate some sort of back-end process, I'll give you an example. An AI agent that automatically creates Jira tickets and summaries. How many people does it serve? Maybe the IT department. It can create a backlog, it can create tickets. That's a good example of an agent. But an agent that processes insurance claims and speeds up thousands of claims every single month and helps your core business, if you're an insurance business, That's going to have the highest ROI. So if your business is processing more claims, adjudicating, you're going to go there. You're going to build an agent that speeds up. It could be the paperwork side of it. It could be the process piece. It could be helping those individuals that are working. And you need to identify those spots in that pipeline that are most impactful for that business. So if your business is about selling cars, you want an agent to help sell more cars. So, but the low-hanging fruit tends to be these days AI assistants, RAG use case on top of documents and policies. So those tend to be more flushed out. Those tend to be operations. But start with the strategy first. Harry, if you want to add.
I agree with you. If you want to talking about the easy win starting point, Alina's the suggestion is very good because that's you can get the attention and you can open the door. But then our way around, if you already get in, you already have the win, and also the people think you can do more for them. That time you might can starting to think about the bigger. The bigger is actually what we are talking about Agentic AI system. The system actually is not only task on just one or two small tasks. It's more about in the future, maybe Agentic AI, the system can replace just one like a whole process or whole department or whole division. That way it's become larger. But those things, the larger things, you can think about it, you can plan about it, and but your starting point still baby step by step, in order to do all the either easy steps down, then move to a bigger one step by step. Yeah.
Yeah. Go where you go after that strategy and understand that business quite well.
Yeah.
And don't try to play with technology just for the sake of technology. And just because you can do something doesn't mean you potentially should be doing something. And I'm sharing with you some no-code AI agent builders. And these are free options for non-technical users. There's a couple that I have summarized. Okay. But if you're an enterprise level organization, you may not be able to use this. I'm just warning you. If for those of you working in banks, maybe check with your information security first.
You cannot download. They will block. They will block you.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm in a similar situation. So if you are going after low-code AI agents, some good ones, some options are LangFlow, Flowwise, N8N. These are a couple popular that are also sprouting. Big communities are leveraging these. Lots of individuals are starting to play with these. And the other day, I actually got a question about what's the difference between agents, AI agents, and RPA, robotic process automation. I mean, how is it different, right? So both automate certain things, certain flows. But in the case of AI agents, they basically have got access to large language models and they can do reasoning and more advanced type of things. So, but yes, there's some commonalities. And for those of you that are comfortable typing in code, LangChain is very popular in Python. AutoGPT, there's a couple others for you out there. So the future outlook, as we are wrapping up our session today. So hybrid AI systems, potentially multiple AI agents. We discussed human in the loop. And now you have seen that experiment from Google. They are making amazing advances in quantum computing. I don't know if you have seen that. They actually,
Yeah, so that.
yeah, there was an algorithm and they managed to achieve essentially a very interesting situation happened there. They are able to recreate and repeat experiments that that opens up a lot of opportunity. And I don't know if we are going to see that in our everyday work right now, but give it another couple of years. It's definitely something that's coming. And enterprise level, Gartner predicts by 2027, half of enterprises are going to be handled by autonomous AI agents. And I even had an interesting conversation with a colleague the other day. We were chit-chatting. Are we going to see a completely AI bank where all the departments are AI agents? Is that something that's going to be in our future in the next 5 to 10 years?
It is possible.
It is possible. So these are tools, they are collaborators to elevate human potential. And we are actually at the end of this webinar. If you have got questions, do follow us on LinkedIn. You can send us an email. You can follow the website. We have got some interesting events coming up. And we would like to thank Harry Wang from Fifth Third Bank for joining us today. It was excellent to have you. And I thank everyone, and I want to wish you a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Anina. Thank you.